How does it feel to lift the Six Nations with a Grand Slam as well?
Oh, it's absolutely incredible, These moments don't come by too often. The women's game is so competitive these days that actually, to be in a chance to win a Six Nations, but to win a Grand Slam, it's pretty special. And I can honestly say I've never won a Six Nations, let alone a Grand Slam here at the home of English Rugby at Twickenham. So it definitely will go down in one to remember.
Another episode of the Women's Rugby Show.
Siobhan, a very special episode of the Women's Rugby Show.
Sorry, Adam. As you probably can see, but if you haven't worked it out yet, we are somewhere different to one of our usual haunts. Have a look behind us.
Yes, that is correct. We are at Twickenham Stadium, the Twickenham Stadium, for a really, really special episode here. We're going to be covering the final game of the 2019 Women's Six Nations between England and Scotland. And not only will England will be lifting the Six Nations trophy, but they could be doing it with a Grand Slam.
Indeed, yes. It's been an amazing tournament for the Red Roses. And as Adam said, we are here at the final game and we're going to be bringing you as much content as possible. We're going to be bringing you our match preview. We're going to be bringing you fans interviews and of course, what you've been really waiting for, we're going to be bringing you player interviews after the game when they're celebrating.
From pitch side as well.
Oh yes, from pitch side. Such a special day. And obviously we are a YouTube channel, so it's not often that YouTube channels get this much exposure to the national team when they're about to pick up the trophy, Adam?
Absolutely. I don't know about you, Siobhan, I'm absolutely buzzing. I'm so excited.
Yeah, even the blustery weather's knocking us off. We are so up for this.
Yeah, it always seems to be windy whenever we're filming. I don't know why.
I think I'm a bad luck dog.
Not at all, not at all. So before we get into the juicy stuff, you know what I'm going to say. First of all, yeah, please do like this video. Your thumb is not that far away from the like button, so please do give it a like. Subscribe to the Women's Rugby Show on YouTube. It basically means that when we drop a video, when we put up some content, means you will be notified. And we've been putting loads of content up recently. We've got player challenges, we've got games, obviously, that you'll see here today.
A one-on-one interview.
Yeah, Siobhan sat down with Harlequins ladies and Australian international Chloe Butler, and that's our latest video that's on the channel. So please do subscribe. Follow us on social media. We know you're on social media. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at Women's Rugby Show, or if you just on Facebook, the Women's Rugby Show. But most importantly, aside from all that, if you're going to do none of those things, do this thing. Please tell your friends, tell your family, tell your teammates, tell your neighbour, tell everyone. So look, listen, this show has grown and grown and grown, and it's all because of you. So please help us carry on.
Okay, anyway, that is enough on that. Let's get on to the important thing. Let's preview the game.
So I'll take England.
I'm going to take Scotland.
Fine, but can I just have a caveat here? I am half Scottish, so half of me will be cheering for Scotland during this game, but I will go for England. So, I mean, look, the stats are pretty impressive for the Red Roses. This is their fifth game of the Six Nations. They've won 3 of their matches so far by over 50 points. They've won one game by over 40 points, and that was to their nearest rivals, France, who were meant to be some kind of challenge. So, you know, every single game they have won has been with a bonus point. Now, if England win today with a bonus point, they will be the only side in the Six Nations, male or female, to have won a Grand Slam with bonus points in all their games.
What's an achievement that?
Yeah,
Wow.
It's absolutely incredible. Now, for them, there are 5 changes to the side. Most of them are in the forwards, so and this is from the last game against Italy. So the likes of Hannah Bottom comes in. Amy Cockayne comes in the front row as well. Second row, Poppy Cleal. And Vicky Fleetwood starts her first Six Nations match this year. So we're really excited to see what happens with Vicky. And then in the backs, it's Mo Hunt. The rest of the side has pretty much stayed the same. If you haven't seen my preview video, which dropped earlier this week, I guess part of my discussion was, is there too much chopping and changing from Simon Middleton's side? Yeah. You know, the argument could be, well, you know, they're not really going to get that consistency playing together, but at the same time, does it really matter? They're demolishing teams, so it doesn't really matter too much.
And if someone makes an impact, you know, off the bench and stuff, they deserve a start, don't they?
Exactly. No, that's a really good point. That's a really good point. So, yeah, I guess, to be honest, that's England. There's not really much you can say. What about the Scot?
Well, for you Scotland fans, indeed for the Scotland team, it's been a tournament to forget. Really, nothing's really gone right in the politest way possible. They've lost every game. They've got just the 1 point, that one bonus point. In fact, they've only scored 7 tries in the whole tournament. It's not been good.
And I think they've only converted 1 kick as well.
Exactly.
It's just not. You can't have that at a tournament of this calibre. No,
they've really struggled. But in their last game against Wales, perhaps there was something to be a little bit more optimistic about. 15-17, they lost right at the end.
Heartbreaking for the Scots. But they did score 3 tries.
Yeah, exactly. So there were positives there, and I think they might be able to take this into today's game as well. I mean, I'm not saying that England are going to get beaten. I know in my last prediction I went for something really tight. I was shown up, so I'm going to be a bit more realistic about this one. But I think, you know, Scotland, they know England, how important this is to England. Scotland will be driven by wanting to deny them the Grand Slam. I think that's a fact, isn't it?
Absolutely, and they're playing at Twickenham. They're playing at the national stadium of their opposition. So surely that will lift them.
Yeah, you think so, and I think that will drive. I think they want to give their fans something, and I think walking in here, seeing how many supporters, obviously with both sides, are going to be here, it's going to lift them. And I think it'd be tighter than England's other games, but I think England still, I think they're going to win the Grand Slam.
It's going to be an annihilation.
Last year, 43-8.
Yeah.
Yes. Maybe something similar. What do you reckon?
Well, listen, my preview earlier in the week, I said 62-0 to the Red Roses. I think that's going to be the case again today, so I'm sticking to my word.
Strong words from you, Adam.
Yeah.
Anyway, that is enough from us. Let's hear what the fans have to say.
Nice one. Okay, so we have come across our first Red Roses fan. What's your name?
Katie.
Katie, and where are you from?
I'm from Sheffield.
From Sheffield?
Yep.
So you've come all the way down to London to watch the England side today?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Have you watched any of the girls anywhere else across the country?
Yeah, I went to see them in Doncaster, Cardiff and Exeter and now Twickenham.
Wow, so all the games?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Bar the Island one, but yeah.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. So how have you, I guess, experienced women's rugby across the country? I guess it's obviously different for different people in different areas, but how has the general feeling around women's rugby been across the UK?
I think personally from being up north, it's getting promoted a lot better. It's because of things like Six Nations, you've got a lot more publicity, so it's showing parents that they can get the young children into the sport, and it's actually showing that it's not just a male sport, it's a women's sport as well, so that's a big thing I think, and it's nationwide now, so that's fantastic.
And what was the atmosphere like in Exeter, because it was record numbers, sold out?
Yep, fantastic stadium, first time I'd ever been, lovely stadium, lovely people, the atmosphere was fantastic, especially when they were singing Sweet Low, it went round beautifully.
I bet I can imagine.
Yeah.
And I understand you're a rugby player as well, is that right?
Yeah, I play for Doncaster Demons, which were under Phoenix, yeah I do.
There you go, Doncaster Demons, shout out.
Yep.
You can say hi to the girls
Hi.
there. So for women's rugby, what do you think this, I guess, the Red Roses Roadshow around the UK, what do you think it can do for the sport now, for young women and young girls to grow up maybe watching the England players and going on to play themselves?
I think it actually shows now that there is a pathway from the early ages to get young girls to teens into women. There is some way that they can actually play the sport and they can actually do it as a career, so it's a big achievement for them. It's not we're just going to play for our own good. We can actually do that as a career, and it's a big thing, especially watching the Roses. It actually encourages them a lot more.
Absolutely. Have you been to Twickenham before?
Yes.
You have, okay. And
yeah, I love Twickenham.
You expecting a big atmosphere there today?
Yeah, hopefully a big atmosphere. I've been told to expect quite a few people to stay in behind.
That's an interesting point you made there. So obviously the women's game will be after the men's game.
Yes.
Do you expect there to be a lot of fans coming in afterwards or staying behind, or a mixture of both? What do you think will happen?
Hopefully a lot of people will stay behind because the publicity that it's been getting women's rugby, and especially because we can potentially get the Grand Slam. People, I think, are going to want to stay for that. I'm not sure whether a lot of people actually realise how fantastic women's rugby is compared to men's. But if they stay for 10 minutes, I'm sure they'll stay for the rest of the match.
Brilliant. I like that. That's a really good advert. And also, we understand that you have another reason for coming down here. You are a little one. I thought it's quite a big one, actually. So you are the Red Roses, I guess, official hairdresser for these 2019 Six Nations.
Yep, I've done the hair since Doncaster. They needed somebody to help them out. So I played, like you've said, for Doncaster, and I captain it. So I got asked whether I could help out. So since then, like I said, I've gone to each game and I've helped them wherever they needed and put the braids in and made them relax and feel a lot better so they can actually have their time before the match to do what they need to do.
Because you've got that iconic look, I say iconic, I mean they're only young, they've only played a lot of them for England for a couple of caps, but the iconic look of Kelly Smith and Jess Breach with those long plaits, is that generally what the style is? I'm probably not the best person to be talking about hairstyles, but is that generally the style for the women's players?
A lot of time, braids are individual styles. It actually goes on the person and their own preference to how they like the hair braided. Sometimes people can look at it if they're a forward or a back, what they need, compared to Kelly and Jess, to Sarah. Bern, it's totally different. Your head's in and out of a ruck as a forward a bit more. So as a back, no offence to forwards and backs, they can look a bit more dainty with
more
the
glamorous.
plaits.
Yeah. I guess for the forwards, it's more of a tight.
Yeah,
I really don't know what I'm talking about here, but is it like a tight braid?
The braids are all put in tight, but being a forward, when you've got like Sarah Byrne and Poppy, they need it tighter because they're getting in and out of everything, aren't they? So it has to stay in place.
Fantastic. And I need to ask, I guess you've done their hair today before the game?
Yeah, did it this morning.
So what is the atmosphere like inside the England camp?
The atmosphere this morning was a lot more relaxed, a lot more laid back, but I think that's because it's a later kick-off. Sometimes with an earlier kick-off they can be a bit more stressed and a bit more focused. They're very, very focused before a game. They know what they've got to do, they're routined really well. But everybody's really excited, everyone's looking forward to it. Dare I say a little bit nervous, I think, because obviously there's the Grand Slam looming. But no, more than anything, they were all really happy and go lucky, to be fair.
Brilliant, fantastic. Okay, fine. Well, look, let everyone know out there. Do you have like a website or somewhere where people can find you? How can people find you if they're up and around Doncaster?
In Doncaster, my name is Katie Hall, and on Instagram, it's Bootylicious Hair.
Bootylicious Hair, fantastic, brilliant. And finally, we can't go without asking you, what is the score going to be today?
England are going to win for certain. I actually think it'll be a tighter score today than it was last week. 26-12.
Wow, okay, brilliant. There you go. That's quite a tighter scoreline than I would have thought. Well, listen, Katie, thank you so much. Really great speaking with you, and enjoy the game.
Thank you, same to you.
All right, I'm here outside a very windy Twickenham, but I'm joined by two of the Red Roses' biggest fans. I'm joined here by Joseph. Hi,
Hello.
Joseph. And Rosie.
Hello.
How excited are you to be here at Twickenham watching the Red Roses?
It's a very good opportunity because some of the men's matches are quite hard to get to, and it'll be fun to see some good rugby inside the stadium.
Are you expecting a really good atmosphere? Lots of fans here today.
Yeah, I hope that there's going to be a lot of people inside the stadium cheering on both sides.
I think there certainly will be, especially because England can still win the Grand Slam, of course. And Rosie, how impressed have you been by the England side in the Six Nations this year?
They played very well.
Which players really stood out for you?
Probably Shauna Brown,
What's your favourite thing about going to a live rugby game?
Seeing it like at the very moment, not on TV where it's not particularly very good.
And if England do win the Grand Slam, then how much are you going to celebrate, both of you?
It's going to be a big, big achievement for them. So,
yeah, a lot.
Brilliant. And I've just been speaking to your mum, and you've got divided loyalties, haven't you? Your mum supports Scotland, so will you be taunting her if you win and they lose?
Maybe.
You're both too nice. Right, thank you so much for joining the Women's Rugby Show today. I know that you're both a big fan of the channel, aren't you?
Yes.
And we're looking forward to seeing you on there on our next episode. So thank you both very much. Right, I have dragged one of the Red Roses fans outside from a lovely warm bar. She was watching the men's game and I've just dragged her outside to get a little preview ahead of England against Scotland. Katie, thank you so much for joining me. Tell me a bit about, you describe yourself as a passionate Red Roses fan. Tell me a bit about that and where you've come from today.
So yes, I'm a huge fan of the women's sports and I do everything I can to support it. I think we're at a really interesting time in terms of women's rugby globally, but very specifically in England, because the Red Roses are putting in so many fantastic performances and working so hard, and with them having gone professional very recently, I think now is the time for us fans to really step up and show up and capitalise on that and show that we're behind them. They're working so hard. I've come down from Norwich, which is where I live, which is about a 3-hour drive, but I've been to every one of the Red Roses fixtures so far this Six Nations, so I want to make the full house today. And yeah, it's been great to see, the France game was billed as the big one, and it was amazing to be in Doncaster, and then Exeter last week with the crowd was just unbelievable. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to being here today, showing up, and hopefully, fingers crossed, watching those girls lift the trophy that they very well deserve.
Exactly. You just mentioned there was an incredible atmosphere at Exeter last week. Record crowd. Are you expecting something similar here at Twickenham, the home of English rugby?
Do you know what? I really hope so. I think there is this tension where, they've got a stadium full of people there right now, and some of them will not stay back for the Red Roses. And I honestly just think it's sad for them. They're missing a trick.
Free as well.
It's completely free. It's absolutely top-class rugby that we're watching, and the Red Roses are phenomenal, and I think Scotland are going to put up a battle. They've got some really incredible players. I want to drop in Jade Conkle there. I mean, absolutely fantastic. To watch her go up against Sarah Hunter is going to be a spectacle in itself. So yeah, I think if people don't stay back after the game, I'll just have to say why. You're really missing out on a great event, some really fantastic rugby, and if you love the game of rugby for what it is, then you can't not appreciate the way these women are playing, because it's fantastic.
Exactly, they've been an absolute credit to the sport.
Absolutely.
What do you think's been the reason why they've been so good this tournament?
Well, I think England was starting from a fantastic place anyway. They've been a pretty strong team. The World Cup, I want to say last year. Yeah, the year before last, we missed out at the death really against New Zealand. So England are absolutely a really strong, incredible team at all times. I think now with them having gone professional, I think we're probably not seeing just how great that's going to be for that team's standard of play. But what really excites me actually as we get sort of build for the next World Cup is I do believe that the England women's team are setting a standard, and I really hope that the other FUs will follow suit and invest reasonably in their own women's game to keep pace, because there's great opportunity here for the sport in general, and you just see more and more people turning up, more and more people interested. I just think it would be, I hope that the standard the Red Roses are setting brings everyone with it. It just need other RFUs and FUs to step up, I think.
It certainly must inspire young girls watching to think I can be like them. Just looking at the tournament as a whole, which England players really stood out for you?
Well, I mean, it's one of the things about the England team is that the bench strength, the entire breadth and depth of the team right now is just spectacular. You've got absolute sort of long-term mature players, the likes of Katie Daly-McLean, Sarah Hunter is absolutely up there as the captain. Lots of really, really good. Vicky Fleetwood, Mo Hunt, Emily Scarrett, just incredible players with loads of experience. And at the same time, you've got this kind of amazing bunch of young players coming through. I want to talk about, Sarah Bern has just been on fire. You've got people like, Tatiana Hurd, who came out absolutely killing it in the matches that she played. Jo Brown, causes all kinds of problems in the tackle. She's very tackle happy. She's a very dominant tackler. So I think, if the young ones can learn from the experience of the people who've been doing it for a long time, we're going to be in a very exciting place over the next couple of years. Hopefully, both in the Premier 15s, Six Nations to come, and also the next World Cup.
I was just going to ask you about the Tyrrell Premier 15s. When we were speaking beforehand, you said you're a big fan. Tell me a bit about that and how you think maybe the Six Nations and seeing England do so well in that can make people really interested in the Premier 15s as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, I get quite passionate about the Premier 15s. I think it's wonderful that we've got it. I think it's wonderful that it's got the funding. I think it's great that we've got such fantastic teams that have been set up and franchised in there. I think it'd be nice if we had a few more teams in there, actually. And I think that is definitely the ability for really top flight women's players to play weekend in, weekend out against each other is just fantastic, and it's what we need. I think it's made the game at that level much more accessible to us fans. And what I would also say is, you know, that my frustration as a fan is that we're not able to see all of those fixtures streamed. If there was one thing the RFU could do to make it easier for the fans to access women's rugby in this country, it would be to make sure that we get our teams' fixtures streamed at the very least. I know it's a bit of a financial investment, but just to allow us to watch it online, I think that will really drive a fan base, and I think it will pay out in terms of how the game will grow in this country.
Definitely, and obviously the Women's Rugby Show doing what it can to help promote the game as well.
You guys are absolute superstars. You know, as a fan, you're a complete source for us. I follow you on Instagram, I follow you on Twitter, I follow your videos. You're doing great work, and that's what the game needs. It needs everybody to just, as I say, show up, put the effort in, and everyone should be tuning in because it's a fantastic sport.
Brilliant. Just before I let you get back and catch the end of the men's game, can I get a score prediction for the game tonight?
Oh God, I always get told off for being, you know, superly optimistic as a dyed-in-the-wool Red Roses fan.
Good reason to be though, hasn't there?
Yeah, I'm gonna say we'd probably be looking at somewhere in the 50s for the Red Roses, and maybe somewhere in the teens or early 20s for Scotland. I won't name an exact number, but I think Scotland are going to put up a fight today. But I think the Red Roses have got this. Fingers crossed.
It'll be the fourth game for them in the tournament, and they get 50. Katie, thank you so much for your insight. Brilliant fan. You go and enjoy the game, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you.
O'Donnell, 20 Marlon Packer, 21 Leanne Riley, 22 Rachel Burford, captain number 8 Sarah Hunter.
So Sarah, congratulations. First off, how does it feel to lift the Six Nations with a Grand Slam as well?
Oh, it's absolutely incredible, you know. These moments don't come by too often. You know, the women's game is so competitive these days that actually, like, to be in a chance to win a Six Nations, but to win a Grand Slam, it's pretty special. And I can honestly say I've never won a Six Nations, let alone a Grand Slam here at the home of English Rugby at Twickenham. So it definitely will go down in one to remember.
So where does this, I guess, mark in comparison to some of your other major wins?
Yeah, it's definitely up there. You know, it's so hard to win a Six Nations these days, and we've been really pleased with how we've performed, and we've always wanted to finish off on a high with our performance here at Twickenham. And you know, winning at Twickenham is always very special, but to win a Grand Slam it's something like next level.
You do say about sort of performing against obviously the competition that you've had. How difficult was it to, or maybe even easy to, when you beat France, to kind of not switch off and think, well, the rest of the games are going to be a bit of a walk in the park?
Yeah, we certainly did do that. We know that if we had done that, like the opposition that we would have faced, it only takes a slight dip in complacency to be and underestimate your opposition, to be on the wrong end of a result, and that obviously will stop us from winning our Grand Slam. So we've been in the mindset of actually one game at a time, and I know it's a cliche and I know it's really boring, but when it's a tournament you have to do that. You have to be able to go, right, we've won that game, move on to the next, and you can't think too far ahead, because as soon as you start thinking too far ahead, that's when things start to go wrong. So we've been really good with that as a team, to go, right, we'll go France, we can't go, yeah, we've won the Six Nations, because we didn't have our best game then either. So actually we drive our own standards, and each time we come out onto the park we want to be better than we have been before, and I think that's really driven us through this competition.
You say that at times you haven't been at your best. I think you can probably say with all honesty today maybe the result was maybe not as important overall as the fact that you lifted the trophy. I mean, how did it feel going into that game? Because let's be honest, the first half, although the score reflected it, it wasn't a great game from the girls out there.
So we just wanted to put in a performance. Yeah, we thought if we get the performance right, the result will take care of itself, and the conditions were very difficult out there. They're always testing, but I think credit to the team and how we found a way to problem solve that. And I think what was really pleasing was to see how we used multifaceted of our team. You know, we struck through our back line, you know, we went through our forward play, you know, how we managed the conditions out there was really pleasing for us, and I think we look back and we can be really proud of that performance.
I'm not going to ask you too many more questions, because we will see you again in the Tyrrell Premier 15s at some point, I've no doubt, and you look very cold. But last question, I guess, is all around the support. You know, people have been going on now for the last few weeks, you know, the media have kind of jumped on it, I guess, and the fact that about women's sport is now becoming the norm.
Yeah.
You look out there today, there were 13,500 people, which is a record for a women's rugby game outside of a World Cup. Is this now women's rugby? Is this the future of women's rugby, or do you still think there's still a bit of a way to go?
I think this, where we are now, this has to be the norm. You know, we'd love to get 10,000, 13,000 minimum to our games. We'd love to be able to get like double those figures. You know, we want to increase our audience and our fan base year on year, game on game, and I think we saw that from going to Doncaster to Stanley Park to here. People are getting excited by what we're doing and the brand of rugby we're playing, and we really have to get people to jump on board with that and come and support us, because it's absolutely amazing to know that people are there for us and cheering us on, and that does really make the difference at times when we get into tough moments of the games, to know that home games you've got that support for us, and we love love having that. We love the fact that people travel around the country now to follow the Red Roses, and we hope it just gets better and better as we go on.
Brilliant. And all right, last question. Where are you keeping that medal?
On me this evening. I'm not sure it's going to leave me, and then I'm sure I'll find a special place for it at home.
Brilliant. Well, congratulations again. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Sarah, Six Nations champions, Grand Slam champions, and you did it at the home of English rugby. How are you feeling?
Ecstatic. You know, Santa said, like, in all of her 113 caps, she's never had a chance to win a Grand Slam at Twickenham. So for the older girls, it means so much, as well as for me, like a youngster coming through. It's great. I've never won a Grand Slam before, so it's amazing.
And you've just been outstanding throughout this tournament. Never lower than 40 points. Obviously, at France today 80. There's so much potential in this team, isn't there?
Yeah, we just got a great breed of rugby players coming through at the minute. We've got some front row that can offload and run nice lines, but we've got amazing kickers, we've got amazing ball catchers and speed on the wing. So I think all round we've got some great rugby players coming through, and I think once we click, I think we're going to be pretty hard to stop.
And how impressed were you with your own performance throughout the tournament?
Everyone keeps asking me that question. I'm just enjoying it. I'm happy that everyone's loving it at the minute and kind of love getting all the attention from it. But for me, I've just go out there and I try and do my job, and I hope I can do it well enough that I can help make all these guys proud at home. So yeah,
certainly have. And we saw at the end the lovely scenes between the players and the fans, and a record attendance here today, over 13,000. That's just such a big sign of how much the women's game's growing, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I have to say, I felt like having a full stadium at Sandy Park, and actually in Doncaster as well, everywhere. We've just had amazing support from the fans, and I always make it a big effort to go and thank them all, because I think it's something we can give back to the girls and the guys that stay and watch us play, and hopefully we can inspire some youngsters.
What next for this team?
Well, we've got summer tour, so I know that's a big focus, but we're building for the World Cup. I think any team would be lying if they're saying they're not building for the World Cup. That's what we do as 15 sides, so we're going to keep working, and we're going to mark ourselves harshly, but we'll come back, and we'll make sure that when we next all together in an England shirt, we'll be a little bit better than we were today.
Just one final question before I let you get back to the party. I've heard that before, and it sounds pretty fun. How much do you think the women doing well in the Six Nations can impact on the Tyrrell Premier 15s?
I think massively. I think we've come out here and we've played some really good rugby, and I think for a lot of people that haven't been involved in the Six Nations, giving them a chance to kind of be in their clubs and kind of build on what we've kind of showcased. I think when we go back, we'll all have the same kind of drive that we want to push each other forward, and the Tyrrell's Prem has been really hard. I've unfortunately had to watch most of it this year, but just watching it, I know the girls are knackered every single week, so the standards can only really go up after this.
Actually, I have one more thing to say, and then I will let you go. We voted you the Women's Rugby Show Player of the Tournament.
Oh, thank you very much. That's,
have you got a little message for everyone that watches the videos?
No, just thank you. As I said, I just absolutely love playing the Six Nations, and just if anyone out there wants to play for England, I got asked today actually. I just said, just keep trying, just try your best, and no matter what, don't let anyone put you in a box. You know, you can be whatever you want to be. Just make sure you keep working hard, and eventually you'll get to wear the rose on your shirt.
Amazing. Go back and enjoy those celebrations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sarah, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
Six Nations, Grand Slam. I guess the question is, how did it feel to go out there and lift that trophy?
Yeah, it was really fantastic. You know, Twickenham, the home of rugby, home of English rugby. It was fantastic to be here, you know, with such a massive crowd getting behind us. And, you know, we didn't let the rain dampen our spirits.
You played quite a lot this tournament. Has that been, I guess, one of the reasons why you've been probably one of England's standout performers?
Yeah, I think so. Like me personally, I like to, you know, play lots of minutes, get my hands on the ball a lot. It's something that, you know, I really enjoy at Sarries, you know, playing 80 minutes week in, week out, and I think, you know, it's something I need. I love to be on the ball, you know, love to be in the mix of things, so it's maybe been a little bit easier for me to sort of be playing week in, week out, you know, not coming off the bench and stuff like that. So actually it does help, you know, playing so many minutes, it, you know, doesn't hamper you, you're not tired and whatnot. So
absolutely. We said to Sarah Hunter before, how difficult, or maybe even how easy was it for you after that France game, where they're obviously going to be your main challengers for the title, not to switch off for the next 3 games?
Yeah, I think the thing that with the squad, you know, we've got so much ambition, so we'll never switch off, no matter, you know, who we're playing, what's in front of us, and very much so we're looking at performances, putting in performances that we're proud of, and you know, hitting targets. So, you know, no matter what the score is or who the team are, we're still looking to do a job, and we're still looking to do a performance and build week on week, and that's something that we have done.
Talking about building week on week, and going back to the question about you playing regularly, is it beneficial for you to play with a team that's the same lineup again and again? Because we know that Simon likes to chop and change his side quite a bit. Is that disruptive, or actually it's good for all the players involved in the squad?
I think it's really good. Everyone here has slightly different, styles of play, and I think, getting used to those people, you have enough time during the week because we are full-time now. So the chops and changes don't make a big difference, whereas maybe before they would have, because you don't have that time to gel. Maybe you're only together a day beforehand. But we have enough time in the week to get used to it. And like I said, everyone has slightly different styles, so it just adds, week from week.
Which players that have played this tournament, your teammates, have impressed you the most?
Well, to be honest, I never knew who Sarah Beckett was before I came into the squad in October. I've really enjoyed playing with her. I really love her ambition, and she loves to play ball in hand and get tracking up the field. So that's a name that sort of I wasn't really aware of, having come back for sevens, and I've just really enjoyed playing with her.
Brilliant. And 2 last questions, because I know you want to go enjoy the celebrations and you look a little bit cold. First question: where are you going to keep your medal?
This will be in my room. Because we've got our names on our shirts.
Nice.
Going to get this framed, medal in it, and a picture, hopefully.
Nice, very cool.
Yeah.
And I guess moving away from England now, we will be following you on your journey to the most likely the Tyrrell Premier 15s final. How much confidence does playing for England and I guess not being with your side for 2 months at a time, how is that going to transfer towards the end of the season now?
Yeah, I think it's probably beneficial from us having so many people obviously in this England squad, is that perhaps going back to Saracens won't feel so alien. We've used to winning ways, 5 wins here with so many Saracens girls on a bit of a roll. Our last game that we lost was against Harlequins. I think that was back in November, so we've definitely got some winning ways about us, so let's hope that momentum continues.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations again, and well done.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you.
And that is it. England are Grand Slam and Six Nations champions. They did it in style, 80-0 against Scotland. It was a wet night, but it was a wonderful night.
Yeah, it wasn't great conditions out there. I think that was reflected in some of the play. But look, at the end of the day, the result is, I guess, the most important in this instance, because it meant that England lifted the tournament, tournament trophy as Grand Slam champions.
Exactly, and 80 with nothing for Scotland.
Can I just say, okay, I don't want to say I told you so. I'm not going to say I told you so.
You told me so, but you were 18 out.
I was 18 out. I was 18
but
out.
I was almost half out, so I can't pick.
So listen, thank you very much for watching. As always, it's great to have you with us. We are trying to bring different elements of social media and traditional broadcasting to the show. So thank you very much for watching. In terms of what to do next, well, Siobhan, what do they have to do?
What you've got to do next, of course, is this. We need you to like this video. We need you to subscribe to us on YouTube, which means any more content like this, you will be notified that we've put it up and you'll be able to see it straight away. And we've got plenty more coming up. We're at the Tyrrell Premier 15s next week. We'll have more information on that nearer the time. And of course, don't forget to follow us on all the social media channels. Adam?
I'm going to do it now. I'm already following us, but already now. There you go.
Do it again.
At Women's Rugby Show on Twitter and Instagram.
Yes.
And finally, I guess, please tell everyone about the Women's Rugby Show. This show's all about the fans. I mean, it really is. We're doing this for you, for women's rugby fans. So, And
it was amazing tonight. We had so many people come up to us say, we follow your videos. We'd like to do an interview. It was just wonderful, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's the point. If you do see us around, do grab us. We will put you in front of the camera and shove a microphone in your face.
We certainly will. And hopefully you enjoy it.
Brilliant. Well, listen, thank you very much again. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
See ya.